Fireworks CS4 is an Adobe program in Creative Suite 4 for creating bitmap and vector-based graphics for the web. Fireworks has another function. It can be used as a prototyping application in which you can build multi-page website designs and then export those designs as HTML prototypes, which you can then share in a web browser with clients and colleagues. When you use Fireworks in this capacity, you'll find that the program works really well with Photoshop in the practical workflow that I'd like to show you in this movie. I'm going to start here in Photoshop CS4, where I've built this web page comp. I'm going to bring this web page comp from Photoshop into Fireworks, and when I do that, I want to make sure that all of the layer structure and layer properties are retained. So let me show you what those are before I import the file into Fireworks. I'm going to go over to the Layers panel in Photoshop, and there you can see that there are multiple layers in this file. There's also one layer group, and if I click the arrow on that layer group to expand it, you can see that this layer group contains multiple editable type layers. Other layers in this file have special properties. For example, if I click on the textured bar layer here, which contains this green bar, you can see that up in the Layers panel, I've attached a special overlay blend mode to this layer, which affects the way the colors in the textured bar layer interact with the colors below. Or if I go down and click on the navbar layer, and then look up at the top of the Layers panel, you can see that the opacity of this layer has been reduced to 85%, so that the gray navbar here is partially transparent. The surfboard layer, which contains this white surfboard, has a layer style attached to it. If I click the arrow on the right side of the surfboard layer, you can see that there is an outer glow layer style on this layer, and you can see the blue outer glow in the document. So I'd like to retain all of this layer structure and these special layer properties when I bring this PSD file into Fireworks to include it in the prototype that I'm building there. I'm going to switch over to Fireworks now. I'm building that prototype in this .png file, surfsite.png. PNG is the native file format of Fireworks. Over on the right, I have a Pages panel in Fireworks. The Pages panel can keep track of multiple pages that you can have inside of one ping here in Fireworks. I've already imported this PSD page comp into Fireworks, and it appears here in the Pages panel as page 1 of the prototype that I'm building. Now I'm going to import the Photoshop document, the .psd page comp that I just showed you in Photoshop, as a second page in this Fireworks ping. To do that, I'll go down to the Add Page button at the bottom of the Pages panel, and I'll click the Add Page icon there. That creates a new page, page 2, which is currently a blank page on this blue-green canvas that I designated as the canvas color when I created the ping in Fireworks. To import my PSD file, I'll go to the File menu, and I'll go down to Import, and into the 1403 subfolder. There, I'm going to click on fearless2.psd, which is my Photoshop web page comp, and then click Open. In this dialog box, I can set options for importing the Photoshop file. I could change its pixel dimensions, but I happen to know that it is sized exactly to fit this ping file, so I'll leave the width and height as you see them here. I'll also leave the resolution set to 72 pixels per inch. I don't have any layer comps in this file, so I can skip over the layer comp field. I'm also going to leave these other settings at their defaults as you see them, choosing to maintain layer editability over the appearance. I don't need to bring in the background layer from the PSD file because my ping file already has this blue-green page background, and I'm not going to import into a new layer. I would like to see a preview, so I'll click Show Preview, and here I can see a preview of the PSD file. I'll click OK, and then I'll come into page 2 of the ping, which is showing here in the Fireworks document window, and I'm going to move my cursor, which now looks like a placement icon, up to the very top left of the blue-green canvas, and I'll click there to place my Photoshop document inside the Fireworks ping file. If I go back to the Fireworks Pages panel, I can click back and forth between this page and page 1, and then back to page 2 again. There's also a Layers panel here in Fireworks. To bring that panel to the forefront of this panel group, I'll click the Layers tab right here, and now I can see all of the layers that came in with the Photoshop document to page 2 of this ping file. I can see that Photoshop honored the layer structure of the Photoshop file. All of the layers are here, and there's even the layer group, and if I expand the layer group, I can see inside of it all of my type layers. These layers remain editable. So for example, if I click on the first of these type layers, and that selects the type over here in the document, this type remains editable here in Fireworks. so that I can change something about it, like its color. To change the color of this selected type layer, I'll go down to the toolbox in Fireworks, and I'll click here in the Fill Color box. And in the palette that pops up, I'll click on White, and that changes the color of this text. I'm going to collapse the type layer in the Layers panel so that you can take a look at some other layers here. I'll click on the textured bar layer. You may remember that in Photoshop that had a special layer blend mode attached to it, and in Fireworks I still have that overlay layer blend mode as reported here in the Fireworks Layers panel. And if I select the nav bar, you can see at the top of the Layers panel in Fireworks that it still has the reduced opacity of 85%. Not only did Fireworks respect these layer properties, but I can change them here. So for example, I can click the arrow to the right of the opacity field, and I can increase the opacity of this gray nav bar to 100%. And I'll click to close the slider there. You may remember that the surfboard layer had a special outer glow layer effect attached to it in Photoshop. I'm going to select the surfboard layer, and then I'm going to go down to the Properties panel, which is down here at the bottom of the screen in Fireworks. Notice that there's a check mark next to Photoshop Live Effects. If I double-click Photoshop Live Effects, I open the Live Effects window in Photoshop. And here I can see that there is an outer glow Photoshop Live effect on the surfboard layer. I can even change that live effect here by selecting outer glow and then coming into the outer glow options and making a change. So for example, I could click in the color field here, and I might choose another color for that glow, something like a light yellow, and click OK. So you can see that there is a close relationship between Fireworks CS4 and Photoshop CS4, and that you can create content in Photoshop, bring it into Fireworks as a separate page, and Fireworks will honor the layer structure and the layer properties and allow you to make changes to the layers in the file right here in Fireworks CS4.